it better, it's comfortable, and sometimes we forget that there are other perspectives. But using all three, we come up with the best solutions for handling problems.
Now, does it end up like if your parents are a certain number, that they give birth to the same numbers?
Well, temperament is inherited, so there are certain qualities, there may be certain types that are dominant in one family. However, it's more that your parents' type is how you were guided. So you're going to have that influence, but it won't necessarily be your type.
Mm-hmm. And maybe as a child, if you felt you didn't fit in,
exactly.
Maybe it's because of their types and you being different. And that's once you understand the Enneagram.
Yes. Mm-hmm. For example, my son was a fear type that was motivated by fear. He was 6 on the Enneagram, and I was constantly teaching him how to not be afraid. And then my younger son came along, and he was the same type that I am, an 8, and he understood that message. And so it helps for parents to understand their own type when they're teaching their children and motivating their children by understanding where the child is coming from.
Yeah, as I mentioned in the introduction, I found it very, very valuable for understanding my children who are different than I.
We can sort of map people's interviews, the way they respond, their body language. We can have a pretty good idea of what Enneagram type celebrities are, people that have written a lot. There will be patterns in the way they speak, the word choices, the way they maneuver through the world. What, you know, like Donald Trump is potentially an 8. I've never interviewed him, so I can't confirm it, but his demeanor, the way he talks, sounds like an 8. And on the website at enneagram.net, we give examples of potential celebrities or people in history, what type they may have been. Mm-hmm. And it's helpful. We have videos on there to show you little clips so that you can see the body language, like who sits forward, you know, who slinks down or looks...
lowers their
head.
Yes,
it's a very different perspective, and body language is a part of our image. It's a part of our presentation.
Mm-hmm. And probably clothing, too.
Clothing, yes. However, we all have to dress for certain roles, like when we need to be professional, we need to be far more tailored, and when we are dressing for ourselves, maybe we'd be very casual or funky, something of that nature. But why we would choose the outfit would be indicative of type. So if someone had the same exact outfit that I have on today, maybe it's because they love the color green. 8s would choose it because they were comfortable and they felt empowered in some way.
Mm-hmm. Sort of grounded, maybe. Grounded,
solid,
centered.
Like nothing's going to limit me. I'm not going to deal with having to tend to anything.
No ruffles or stuff.
Not too much stuff.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So when you, when a person first starts learning about this, what is a typical learning curve before you can start to kind of get a feel for it, and how would you recommend someone begin their journey in studying the Enneagram?
Well, there are several online tests. We offer a free test at enneagram.net. Other online tests are available, and it's exploring it and seeing how it's true for you or not true for you. Mm-hmm. And some people get their type immediately. 8s in particular usually know their type immediately. Even if you don't know your own type immediately, you'll recognize a parent or a friend, and it begins there, and then you narrow it down. But just reading about it, there are some great books on the Enneagram, a lot of research that's been done.
Many psychologists and psychiatrists and people that deal with helping people to understand how they perform in the world and what challenges them use the Enneagram.
The Enneagram as we teach it today is really a psychological tool, but it's based on those basic principles that there are 9 motivations. And Ennea is simply Greek for 9. So Enneagram just means 9 on a graph. The Enneagram as we teach it today is really a psychological tool, but it's based on those basic principles that there are 9 motivations. And Ennea is simply Greek for 9. So Enneagram just means 9 on a graph or symbol. And that's sometimes confusing, the name alone, but it just means 9. 9 perspectives, 9 views of reality, 9 ways of looking at any situation. It's the lens through which we evaluate the world.
These are just exquisite. Katherine has put together both words and pictures that represent the one perfectionist.
Yes, what's especially helpful is that when I did this research in 1995, I had people that knew their Enneagram type send me images that they felt exemplified what it meant to be one of these 9 types. So in the case of the one here, the collage that's up, this is the perfectionist, reformer, judge, crusader, or critic. And if you are a 1, you would want to be accurate, honest, fair, and objective. But most importantly, you'd want to be respectable, to do what is right and what you feel is appropriate. You may have problems with resentment at times, and under stress you may be angry, nitpicking, and overly critical. But at your best, you are wise, act with integrity, and offer sage guidance to the world. It's quite extraordinary type.
Okay, what would you be like if you were a number 2?
The 2 is the giver, the caretaker, helper, nurturer, advisor, or they can be the manipulator. And if you are the 2, you want to be appealing, giving, caring, and heartfelt. Most importantly, you want to be needed, consider important, and appreciated for your efforts. You may have problems with pride. And under stress, you may be bossy, overly demonstrative, or manipulative, as I mentioned. But at your best, if you're a 2, you're altruistic, giving, empathetic, intuiting the needs of others. This is the person that truly wants to help others.
So kind of a Mother Teresa, Princess Diana, maybe kind of person.
Yes.
Okay, at number 3, the achiever?
Yes, the 3 is also what the U.S. is, and corporate America anyhow.
The United States of America
yes.
is like a 3 country?
Corporate America, very much. So we all have to be this way in business. This is the performer, the motivator, the achiever, the producer, and someone who seeks status. The 3 wants to be competent, efficient, accomplished, and dynamic. And if you are the 3, most importantly, you want to be good at what you do and look good doing it. You may have problems with vanity, and under stress you may be self-promoting and can be self-deceptive and quite competitive. At your best, however, you are self-confident, motivated, and highly productive. These are the producers, the people who really can accomplish a lot in a very short period of time.
Worker bees.
Very efficient-oriented.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, now let's look at type number 4, the artist, tragic romantic.
Yes, this is an overanalyzing type. The 4 is often the mystic, and if you are a 4, you want to be inspired, intuitive, original, and most importantly unique, as well as passionate, true to your feelings, and authentic. Authentic is a really important word for 4. And you would see yourself as sensitive, expressive, and spiritual. You may have problems with envy, and under stress, you may be moody and can be haughty or overly emotional. But at your best, you would be emotionally self-aware, creative, and extraordinarily humane.
So when it says artist, it doesn't mean if you're an artist, you're a 4.
No, it's an artistic perspective, and not all 4s are artists, and not all artists are 4s. However, the 4 is looking at life through what is aesthetically pleasing, whether it's the use of words or the way color is put together. They're sensitive, very sensitive to aesthetics.
Okay, so they notice pretty clothing, beautiful things, and they maybe see something that someone's too busy working might not notice.
Very impacted by beauty, 4s.
Okay. Let's look at